a tour of Austin.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Well, okay, then I'm a native Austinite. I'm a native Austinite. I was born and raised here, and I have been employed here at the Visitor Center. Now this is Visit Austin. I've been employed for with this organization for 24 years, and I have been a tour guide for probably about 10 years now.
Wow.
You know, I point out, the contrast and how this area came to be. Starting with in 1835 when Austin started out as a little settlement on the banks of the lower Colorado River. Exactly, Waterloo, exactly. And apparently Waterloo is from the Flemish, or the folks from Flanders. Basically, it's like a land along the river. This was before Texas officially became a republic, which was in 1836.
Right.
Then 1836, Texas became a republic in 36, and we were our own country until 1845. This house here is the Suzanna Dickinson Hannock house. Suzanna Dickinson was a survivor of the Alamo, and the husband was killed at the Alamo. She was taken prisoner at the Alamo, as well as about 11 others taken prisoner. And this front here is a recreation of the original front. This house was originally in another location. It was built 1868. Well, it was moved to this site. People said, we got to save this house, it's important, so it was moved to this site. It was renovated, and then it opened in 2010 as the Suzanna Dickinson Hannock Museum. Suzanna Dickinson went and told Sam Houston and the others that the Alamo had fallen. Engine number 13, this fire department dates from 1939. Now, it does have an Austin Fire Museum, and the Fire Museum is interesting because it talks about firefighting, the history of firefighting in Austin, starting out with the fact that we had volunteer fire departments here. I think the first professional fire department was about 1916. You'll also discover, too, that Austin was the first city in Texas to hire black firefighters. Well, I can remember as a boy when these were mostly warehouses through here. Like, there used to be a glass supply house on this street, and I remember that my father used to go there because he worked as a painter's helper right next to the home of the blues, Antone's, which is an old Austin institution which started out in downtown Austin, and now it's back in downtown Austin. It's going back to Clifford Antone in the early 1970s. Yeah, Antone's and the old Armadillo World Headquarters, yes. I like how it's been remodeled here, combining a bit of the old and the new also. I mean, these kinds of windows, this type of glass is very popular again. I remember, I mean, you saw a lot of this in the 30s and the 40s and the early 1950s, and now that's back in vogue.
It's your route. You own this route.
Yeah, I do. It's fun. It's fun. East 6th Street was multicultural before multicultural was a word, because East 6th Street had businesses owned by Jews, by Greeks, by Lebanese. The first Chinese-owned restaurant was started here on East 6th Street in 1898. There were bars on this street, but you had a mixture of different businesses also. You also had some clothing stores on this street, over where Buffalo Billiards is now. That used to be Gelman's department store. There's a whole lot more here. Even though, yeah, there are a large number of bars on East 6th Street, there are restaurants here too. I try to tell people about the history of this street, because people know about the bars and restaurants at night, but they don't look at the street in the daytime and look at the architecturally historic buildings on the street. When I was a boy, up until 1964, the Ritz was the only theater in downtown Austin in which blacks could patronize.
Wow.
We had to sit in the balcony. Our parents never told us why we went through a separate entrance after we paid to enter the theater. We had to go through a separate entrance in order to get up to the balcony. And I'm so glad that the Ritz is still being used as a movie theater today.
Open to all.
Open to all.
You want.
You seat wherever you want. You can also order food at the Ritz. You can dine inside the Ritz Theater. So I like that. in looking at these buildings in this block, especially in looking at these 3 buildings, and Jasper Preston sat on the board of judges who determined the architect for the new state capitol building. And also Jasper Preston also designed the J.W. Hannick building. He also designed the Driscoll Hotel. She is the Grande Dame because she is the Driscoll Hotel, a great example of Richardsonian Romanesque architecture, our first truly grand hotel in the city of Austin. A little bit of the old world, old European kind of charm about this hotel. I like it. I mean, it's an exciting city. Ironically, I can't live in downtown. It makes me feel like, you know, I'm being left behind. And here it is, I'm promoting the city.